Welcome to the afternoon alumni speaker series. Here we are going to hear Argyrios Papadopoulos. He's a PD ENG Smart Cities and Buildings in Eindhoven, and he's from Greece. He's originally a civil engineer, and he's going to talk about how to structure knowledge for sustainable technologies and practices. And as you already know, practices are really important. We heard it in the last speech. He also works for Hymen technologies, and they are working for optimizing building design. In order not to lose any more time.
Okay, thank you, Anka. So imagine if we could collect all the knowledge of sustainable energy technologies and systems and practices and create a database that is accessible to everyone. For the past 4 years, this was my dream, to collect all the knowledge and gather it in one database. And for the past 2 years, it was my job with Hymen's technology. Well, since you're here, you are aware that the built environment is one of the biggest primary energy consumption players globally. And you cannot see the figures very clearly, I think. The carbon emissions are also about 40% come from the built environment. Well, this is normal because here in Europe, for example, we spend 90% of our time mostly indoors in the buildings, and this makes sense why such a big percentage of the primary energy consumption and carbon emissions comes from buildings. This has a significant impact in the climate change, and the EU is already taking measures to change the design of buildings. So for the targets for the 2020, they have set is for new buildings to be energy neutral, and for renovated buildings, they set up new standards for renovation. Therefore, construction companies and engineers working in construction companies have to adapt to these new requirements for building designs. And they have to find new ways and adapt to the latest technologies, sustainable energy technologies, in order to achieve the targets required from the European Union. So, but are net zero energy buildings enough? Is the design of new buildings to become net zero energy enough to achieve sustainability in the built environment? What about the buildings that are not going to be renovated and are not going to be built with these standards to achieve the net zero energy? What we think we need to design for is positive energy buildings. So the new buildings should be positive energy, and therefore their annual energy export should be higher than their annual energy import. And my role in Hymen's technology, which is a big construction company, is to be the integral building design engineer, which is basically optimizing the designs of buildings to achieve the different requirements that each building has. When I'm talking about integral design, I'm talking about designing in different levels and able to have the user in the center of the design. So the first target is to, and the core of the design is to provide the full comfort for the users and to fulfill their requirements. Then you have room level design and building level design, which is about the materials, the systems, the technologies, the passive architecture of the building, the efficiency of the building, and producing energy in the building level, or maybe in a bigger level, in a district level, and also if you consider communities of buildings and clusters, as the Arup guy mentioned before. And also getting the global picture for the urban design level. In order to design to meet these requirements, I have developed a strategy using two methods, the systematic inventive thinking and the morphological overview. And I'm going to explain right now what these are. Think of the existing technologies and ideas that are there on the market currently. They form the black box of solutions that you can apply in the built environment. And in order to innovate and come up with new designs and systems, you can make brainstorming sessions, you can form design teams, and you come up with a lot of different ideas. So that you expand these possibilities of applicable solutions to your design. Then what you need to do is to filter these solutions somehow in order to reach to the design possibilities for achieving feasible ideas and innovative design. But what are these filters? These can be filters for the market, the current market, and technological available systems that are there. This black box of existing products and new ideas or virtual projects that you can create, what I do is I put them in the morphological overview, which is a database of all the possible solutions that you can have for the different functions and sub-functions and aspects and sub-aspects of different choices that you can make. So basically I built a map of different design solutions, and I categorize these solutions, for example, for the buildings, applicable, this strategy applied to buildings, for the heating, for the cooling, for the ventilation, for the electricity, and for the passive design. And I categorize these ideas based on if they're related to reducing the demand, or if they're related to energy generation, distribution, storage of energy, in such a way that when I want to provide the design later on, I can just draw a line between these different solutions and then have a design based on the theme and the requirements that you need to achieve. So this knowledge that you have expanded already, for each discipline, you have formed, all of you probably here, you're related to engineering or to urban planning or architecture. You have your knowledge base, let's say. But bringing this knowledge base and working together as a design team is important in order to form, norm, storm, and perform. Having a design team brings all the knowledge together, and therefore, when you're designing, you can quickly reach the desired requirements with less, let's say, risk of reaching to design solutions that the other person will have to change. And I'm not the only one working on developing this map of possible solutions. In the USA, they already developed such databases applied for the USA case, such as the National Renewable Energy Laboratory and the Energy Government of USA. And you can see the different clusters, different functions that they have a database for providing different solutions. And yeah. Why mapping the cloud of sustainable energy solutions is important? Have you imagined ever how many technologies and systems and practices are there? From passive architecture to efficient energy building systems, to sustainable energy, to waste management, to water management, to mobility in the urban environment. There is a huge available list of technologies there, which no one has ever mapped in a very, very structured way to reach to have a single database with all of them in a single, let's say, Excel sheet. And it's actually something very simple. When you have such a database, you can, in every design you go through, you can make very quick decisions based on informed, you can make very informed decisions in an early stage of the design. And when you're following a business as usual approach, when you're just considering your own knowledge or the knowledge of your surroundings, then you have a very limited view to what technologies are there, or possibly you're only going to apply the ones that you know, you worked with, or basically with key partners that you have. So I believe that having all the knowledge in the designs that you want to do is better than having just a limited solution space for your designs. So the database of technologies and practices that I created is focusing on these different functions. And if I wanted to show you the database in one single Excel PowerPoint slide, it would be that bar there on the right. It's quite hard to show in one slide. So I'm going to show you just some interesting technologies that I came up and how I categorize them based on the name of the technology, what type of solution they are, their function, sub-function, aspect, sub-aspect, if they can be applied in district, building, or user level, their working principles, advantages, disadvantages. You can give comments and guidelines about this technology. And you have some indicators. You cannot clearly see them, but they can be about energy savings, energy production potential, about costs, about the reliability, the comfort potential, the technological novelty, aesthetics, durability, low maintenance demands, technology readiness level. You can have all sorts of indicators. So for smart mobility, the pictures are not really visible in this projector. One of the interesting technologies that I saw is the solar roadways, which is a solar energy producing road surface. For passive architecture, ground heat exchange ventilation, which is basically preconditioning the air before you enter it into the building by using the energy from the ground. For energy efficient systems for the buildings, I find interesting the Citizen Serious Gaming, a mobile application that connects with your smart meter and produces data, gives you data on your mobile phone that you can use for energy savings and energy saving game. For sustainable energy technologies, a combined heat and power wood pellet boiler, which is a very new technology that you use basically wood pellets and you can provide both electricity and heat for a building. And they use a Stirling engine to do that. And for water management, using the gray water, let's say from your shower, to flush the toilet on your house, and therefore you save the water that you would otherwise use, which would be clean water. Wow, this is even worse. One of my personal favorites about sustainable energy systems is the balloon energy, as I said. It is a balloon that produces wind energy, and it's a new type of technology. It's still to be tested to see the production. And what is interesting here is the fact that they used it in a movie to show how the future could be of using innovative technologies. And it is a very nice way to show how it could be applied also in the built environment, possibly, which is hard to do with big wind turbines. So about the vision of Hymen. Hymen is one of the biggest construction companies in the Netherlands, and they have developed a lot of innovative products, and they want to develop even more innovative products in order to adjust to the market requirements for innovation and for energy solutions. So they developed the solar noise barrier, which is an energy producing noise barrier using a new technology of plastic materials. They have developed some smart road systems. They have concepts for the renovation of buildings, a 3D printed house, and the project that I am applying as a case study, my database, and using my structured design process for developing a product is the one on the bottom right, which is a temporary prefabricated construction where young professionals can rent for a low rent every month. And this building can be developed in 1 week after you order it, and it can be provided to you as a plug-and-play house. And Hymen is also going to build like about 100 of these houses coming in 2016. And in order to optimize the design, we use the database to see what applicable solutions could be used. And this is for passive architecture, for energy efficient building systems, for sustainable energy systems, and in different levels, in community level or district level, as I said, in building level, in user level. And this is a good example of from the big database to limiting. You can limit to the possible applicable solutions very easily. In one day, you can have a different design, even less, maybe an hour. You can have a different design that would be, you would have a customized theme. One of these customized themes is the energy, is the smart one, which is more than a net zero energy building. And why is it more than a net zero energy building? Because it doesn't only have some innovative products, let's say for the services, the Nerdalize radiator, which combines computational power to warm up your house for free, or energy producing technologies or storage like the Tesla batteries, Powerwall, or combined heat and power solar systems. And for passive measures, algae facade that is providing shading. But it also has user system interaction technologies, which let's say GPS tracking, so that your house shuts off when you leave your house and starts to warm up, let's say, when you're approaching the house, or a door handle that you can control your lighting, or learning thermostats and the citizen application that I told before, which is about behavioral change. And based on this smart one, we want to make with Hymen's a living lab of a community, of physical community of residences, where you can apply innovative technologies that are provided by innovative companies to the physical community. In this physical community, you will test these technologies and you will produce data, not only performance data, energy data, but also behavioral data or live input from the users of these technologies. The ones that we call early adopters will live there. And also you can provide training for installers, for training qualified installers to use such technologies, such new technologies. And therefore bring these technologies quicker in the market. This data can be used to improve the design and also to inform potential new customers about these kind of technologies. So my question to you is, what if Kikin Energy Community developed its own knowledge database and inventory of different technologies? And for this, I created for now the KikIE database hashtag in Twitter, where everyone can post the new technologies that they have with possibly a website where someone can get information from as a starting point. So that was my presentation. I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's pick it up.
Yeah, okay.
My question is, so you're doing this database and you're doing for a company,
Mm-hmm.
And it's only for that company. In the beginning, your goal was to do it for a company, or it was to be a thing that everyone or every company could do?
Yes, I started it myself when I was doing my master's in building services and physics, because it was something interesting for me, because I wanted to put down the knowledge that I was gaining from my master's in a structured way so that I cannot forget, let's say, something. And this is why I use this database for, because if you're designing without having all the knowledge in your head, which is very hard for some people, then you're probably going to forget something. And that something could be a very cool idea for your project or an integral design. Yeah. Well, I initially started doing it for myself. Then I was thinking that this could be something to be open but right now, because of contractual agreements with my PDN traineeship, this belongs to the company. So that's why I'm suggesting, I'm not suggesting that I give this for free, for example, to Kikino Energy, but why not create our own platform, our own knowledge?
I think it's an excellent idea.
Yep.
This plug and play house, what is made of? It's made of cardboard, it's made of wood.
Mainly it's made of wood.
Okay.
There is a steel frame, but they are looking into the possibilities to replace it, but it's a small frame as well. So it's really easy to construct in the factory, and then they transport it. I have a nice video about it, but it wasn't, I don't know how to show it. It can show more about this building and its users. It is in Dutch, but there are subtitles, so I think you can get some information about it.
De Hymen One is een tijdelijk verplaatsbare woning. Hier in Tilburg bouwen we hem op, maar je plaatst hem in 1 dag op een locatie naar keuze.
En de bedoeling is dat die geplaatst worden op ongebruikte stukken grond, waar jonge eenpersoonshuishoudens daar tijdelijk kunnen wonen. Dat kunnen gronden zijn van onszelf, maar ook van gemeenten, woningbouwcorporaties of andere ontwikkelaars. Nou ja, daardoor gebruiken we eigenlijk stukken grond op een hele duurzame manier en we helpen tegelijkertijd de doelgroep. Ja, de woningmarkt voor de doelgroep is super lastig. Als je bijvoorbeeld in Amsterdam iets wil huren, kun je gaan kijken naar een zolderkamer van 16 vierkante meter voor €700 per maand en staan er met jou nog 88 mensen in de rij. Dus die 2 problemen hebben we eigenlijk samengevoegd en daarvoor hebben we Hymen One bedacht.
Een van de basisideeën van deze woning is toch wel geweest om een positief gevoel over te brengen. Hoogte, ruimte, licht, mooi uitzicht. Met zulke projecten zijn we in ieder geval de eerste stap aan het zetten in een andere manier van denken dan puur het vastbouwen.
Ja, het bijzondere aan Hymen One is dat het eigenlijk een tijdelijke oplossing is, maar qua kwaliteit niet onderdoet voor een definitieve huisvesting.
Het is natuurlijk een heel nieuw concept. Ik ben berentrots. Ik heb aan bijna 2000 huizen gewerkt en dit is toch wel echt iets speciaals.
Okay, yeah, that's the video. Yeah. There are different versions based on how much you're willing to spend and to what you want to achieve. So the luxe version of it, which is bringing full comfort, let's say like a shower jacuzzi, and that saves water. Like it's called Crystal Shower. It's one new climate kick, I think, startup. Yeah. That saves water, 90%. Therefore energy as well. It can range from 65,000 to 75,000. So, yeah.
You mentioned it's a monthly rent.
Oh yeah, to rent it, this is to construct it and to sell it, the selling price. And to rent it is about €700 per month, which for Amsterdam, it's quite cheap.
Well, I have one question, and it's, first I think that the idea is really good. Second, I want to ask something about the difficulties behind doing this database. Like technology grows exponential. There are different providers and everything. So, how hard it is to keep updated this database, and how difficulties behind it?
To update it, it's quite easy. You just need to go to the Excel file that all this is. And you can just insert a new line. And it takes like 10 minutes to add the new technology
Yeah,
there.
but it's
And
more about the information, about gathering the information. About
the finding the information is the hard part,
Yeah.
and that's why for the past 2 years I was doing it, and it's something you need to do a lot of research on, and need to spend a lot of hours. First, the hardest part is to categorize what its technology is. From heating systems, let's say for houses, you have the generation systems, you have the distribution systems, you have the release systems, you have the storage systems, and you have a network of all these. You can have how you say, the end system that is also the generation system, and all these you need to initially find a good structure about the functions and sub-functions and the aspects and sub-aspects, and then start inputting technologies in it. Yeah.
But have you a feeling about how permanent this list is? So how often it should be updated? Because I mean, it could be like in 2 years, like most of the information is already too old and nobody can use it. But it could also be, I'm not sure like how fast the technology in buildings is moving. So if maybe this can be used for 5 years, 10 years, do you have any?
Whenever one of the reasons that this technology, this database was developed, is because companies like Hymen's in the technology department, every day they get a lot of information of new technologies and technologies, better systems than the former systems. And whenever you get such a system, then we say, okay, you receive an email that, okay, look at this technology, and then you update it quickly. So you need one engineer to do it, and that's it. Yeah.
So basically, how it works for a community, because you have to take the responsibility of when you receive the information, automatically to update it.
That's what we do. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but the basis of the technologies is there. So, and the systems do not go much further than that. But even if they do, you are able to make changes quite easily. Yeah.
And what about the method of finding new technology? Do you have like a
Google?
secret that you can tell, or?
It's mostly Google, and the companies that come to you as a big construction company, or to become collaborators, to show you the products. Also, Hymen has a city accelerator. So it's called Spark, and new companies come together to discuss about, let's say, making their business plan better, or making the technology better, and with discussions, with brainstorming sessions, and yeah.
And how do they use all these technologies? How do they know which one they're going to apply, or which one are better for the energy efficiency construction project?
Yeah, for that we have some other tools. They're optimization tools for building design, MATLAB basically, that gives you integral design. But I didn't want to focus on how you reach to the design decisions, but more to how you build such list where later on you can go to less options and narrow down your choices. Yeah.
First of all, it's really funny because you use the same methodology as I did in my master thesis, but it's
nice.
something completely different. I was trying to do some offshore wind assessment.
Yeah, the morphological overview, right? Yeah.
But what I really like about this approach that you did is that you kind of made it happen that, if I understood correctly, to the building sector, because usually buildings are built for decades and not only for years. And so it's very interesting that you build a lot of different styles and get very fast feedback to improve even more. So my question is, are you thinking to scale this up? Because I saw that you couldn't attach these houses. Are you also thinking of bigger houses, office buildings, I don't know, what have you, retail?
Yeah, this is the startup case study that we did with the collaboration between SEPSI, the Smart Buildings and Cities program, the PDM, and the company. The next step is to do it for residential houses, to do it for the standard Dutch housing style, if you know more or less what these houses are. That they detached or terraced houses for apartment blocks, and when we can also use this for office buildings. We're now considering to making it broader and then make another function if it is for residential buildings or for apartment blocks or for offices. Yeah. We're considering expanding it more.
I have also one question, and it's concerning about when companies approach to you, they try to sell their products. It's normal, it's free market. But there's not also the issue of, because companies sometimes say some things, but at the end they don't perform the way it's not true. There's not the problem. Like
That's why
how can manage that?
That's why we want to make this living lab that I mentioned at the end, and it's going to be a collaboration between TUE and Hymen again, and they're going to make this living lab in the campus of TUE, and they're going to be using also companies that are from the collaborating companies with the university, collaborating Hymen's companies, and just companies who will find us there and try to show us their products. So each building can be a separate living lab for comparison of different systems, or you can have different approach to that. You can have also a district system, a centralized energy production, and you can have a lot of different things. But this is how we want to approach this, is by actually testing it in real life. We would do to be quick in doing this because 2020 is really coming.
For example, how do you make sure that one technology could be for a residential area, for a house, but actually if you make a small change, you could adapt it also for a block of land.
Exactly.
And how do you make sure that you have this in the database? Or
By having
because maybe if you
yeah.
are looking for a block of flats, you might just miss that technology that just needs a bit of twitch.
Yeah, I in the database I spot if this technology can be applied on district level, and if it can be applied on building level only, or if it can be applied from user level, or a user interaction is needed with this technology. So this is how I approach it. I put
But you make the decision, or you just take the information that is provided?
Yeah, I by research on the technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you make the decision if, for what it is.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I was doing the question that this methodology that we're using, okay, I'm okay that it's a tool for conceptual design of the building, but did you get, I don't know, for example, some kind of calculations based on the technology that you want to apply? For example, I don't know, maybe it's possible, you say, okay, I want a building with this consumption of electricity, and then they like look for which building or which combination of all the ones that you have there.
Yeah, this is
like a filter or
this is a
something
step that we do with computational software that we have, and with the optimization software, the MATLAB tools.
Okay, so you also get numerical data of this. It's not just for the
not on the database. This is the database is something to choose from after you have an indication of what technology you would like to apply.
Okay, so then you use this model that you get here, or this combination of technologies, and you prove it in MATLAB or somewhere with computational power.
Yeah.
Should be a way to integrate them both, right? Like in the future, maybe.
Well, the tools, the computational tools, are a step that can be integrated with this database. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Basically, the MATLAB tool is this with less detail. Each solution that the MATLAB tool gives you can be, let's say, it can be a heat pump as the best choice of system that you could apply. And then you can choose from what kind of heat pump you would like to apply based on the database, because there are a lot of different heat pumps, or types of heat pumps available. It's also up to the level of design that you're at, because this is for the initial design, which is one of the critical steps to have as less iterations of design iterations as possible for reaching an optimal design solution in the end. Yeah. The more informed your initial design options are, the less time it will take you to reach your final design based also on calculations and on costs, because cost optimality is very important, and life cycle costs.
And you also can apply some filters to the technologies. For example, if you say, okay, I want this building, but I, for example, want that, I don't know, consumption should be positive, and then they show you just the technology, which combination is.
Yeah, these are the manual tools. This is all computations and calculations. Yeah, this you can do. Yeah.
Any other
This
questions?
could be another presentation next year.
I will look forward to it.
Thank you.
What is the lifespan of those buildings approximately? Like how long can they last for?
25 years they're designed for. Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, then thank you very much.